There's a salad made with Caesar's mushroom, a favorite of the Roman Emperor Claudius, that's made with the only safe species of a genus so lethal that its members go by names like the Destroying Angel or the Death Cap. I've been collecting mushrooms for 30 years, but this was one that I'd only had in Italy. Shaved raw over vegetables with some Parmesan and olive oil. Simple, dangerous, delicious, and memorable. It's the Italian version of what the Japanese do by eating fugu. Word came to me that a Serbian had found some of the ovally mushrooms in upstate New York. And so I called a few friends and we were going to have Caesar's mushroom here in New York. A dangerous dish, but one of the 100 dishes you have to try before you die. You have as little as the white on my finger over here, and you're sick that evening, you seem to recover, and 3 days later, you're dead. You only do this with a real professional, somebody who knows. No one go and do what we're going to do.
Don't try this at home.
Do not try this in your yard or anywhere. We eat these things raw. Slice them thin. Dress them with thinly sliced celery, a little bit of parsley leaves, and Parmesan cheese, olive oil.
I think a little salt on there would be good too.
If tomorrow we're still around, you know that this is good. Are you guys ready for this? All right. Small fork goes first.
C'est destiné.
It's great. It's delicious.
Isn't it wonderful?
What I love is you have this earthiness of the mushrooms with the creaminess. That creaminess continued by the cheese, and then you have the cut of the leaf of the celery. It really works well together.
It's a very subtle thing, but a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
The 100 dishes you have to have before you die.
Yeah.
Number 99, because this may be your last meal. Here's to Devour TV. We give our all. Do you feel that slight tingling in your fingers starting?
Don't tell us that.
Do you think wine is just for rich people?
A lot of people ask me, hey Gross, is wine for rich people? Is wine for snobby people? And I don't think so. I think it's an American concept that wine is just for rich people and the blue collar people just drink beer and Jack Daniels. When you go to Europe, everyone's drinking wine. Don't try to go anywhere in Spain from 12 to 2 because they're on siesta. And what do you see? Old people, drinking their little glasses of wine. It's not a snooty thing unless you make it snooty. Okay, wine has been here since the 1600s. The Norsemen called America Vinland. That's how many vines were here. The player of all players, Thomas Jefferson, the third president of this country, he brought wine into this country. So maybe because wine came into this country on top, and everybody else during the Revolution was drinking whiskey and beer, maybe this came up. Who knows? But I think that wine is snobby if snobby people make it snobby. If it was that perception that people into wine were snobby, I wouldn't get into wine. I was raised in a blue-collar town. You know what I mean? So it was beer, it was Jack Daniels, the snobs drank wine. But one day I opened my eyes and realized that's not the case. So if you want to get into wine, don't think it's just for rich people. I know people that are broke that are snobs. Never let somebody's snobbery or that stereotypical opinion keep you from doing what you want to do. God bless you. Always stay passionate about wine and never be pretentious.
How to roast squash. Squash, oil, salt, pepper. First, carefully cut your squash in half. Your best bet is to keep a dishcloth over the back of the knife, especially when you've only got the tip to grab onto. Next, go ahead and scoop out all the seeds. If you like, you can separate them from the flesh and roast them off later. Now take the oil and completely cover each piece of squash. This makes them cook quickly and more evenly. Now season them all over, even on the skin side, and then flip them back on their flat side. Now pop them in an oven at 375 degrees. You want to make sure they get a little bit of color. It translates to added sweetness. Now if you're going to puree the roasted squash, make sure you don't toss that sweet squash syrup that oozed out of it in the oven. It's pure concentrated squash flavor, so make sure to take advantage of it.
Batali Bubblegum, it's the cheese sensation that's rocking the nation. Batali Bubblegum, molto parmigiano, molto parmigiano. Batali Bubblegum, for bubbles as big as Mario's belly. Batali, Batali.
4 kickin' flavors: Parmesan, Balsamic Blast, Roasted Garlic, and try new sugarless Mortadella.
Are you a cheese lover? Do you love cheese?
Yeah, I love cheese.
You love cheese?
Yes.
So you a cheese lover? Now, are you a cheese lover?
I am.
Hey, I'm David Rosengarten. Welcome to Cheese 101. Today's segment, bloomy rind cheeses. Sounds kind of British. Bloomy rind! But actually France is the real home of bloomy rind, as you'll see in a moment. But they're now being made all over the world. Bloomy rind. Here's the deal. They make a cheese. Very often it's cow's milk cheese, but you can also have sheep's milk bloomy rind or even goat's milk bloomy rind. They put that in little molds usually because this is a cheese that doesn't age very long. This cheese may be ready in 2 to 4 weeks. This rind is created by spraying it with a mold. So that mold has a substance in it that starts to raise this kind of fuzzy, what they call bloomy white rind. Perhaps most important, when you cut into a perfect one, it runs all over your plate, and that is like the sexiest thing in all of cheesedom. First, I wanted to show you that a very typical shape for a bloomy rind cheese is a small disc, and these are all from France, and they're all different. I wanted you to take a look at one other feature of the bloomy rind cheese. A peculiarity of it is that unlike many other cheeses, the bloomy rind cheese ages from the rind in. Now, it just so happens that the last of these 3 cheeses is from Brie. Brie, I know, like, oh, we're gonna go drink some Chardonnay and eat some Brie. I mean, it sounds like the most boring thing in the world, and it is in the US. However, I must tell you that the most wonderful, gorgeous of all the bloomy rind cheeses, when it's right, is not from Brie. And Brie, you know, is just like 50 miles east of Paris, but it's from northwest of Paris, from the region of Normandy. Normandy makes gorgeous bloomy rind cheeses, and perhaps the best is also the most famous. This is the Chatelaine. It's a camembert from Normandy. And I'm going to disrobe it for you right before the cameras. Look at this beautiful bloomy white rind on here. And the smell, can you smell that? Truffly, earthy, nutty, even, I'm telling you, sometimes a good bloomy white rind has a little, it's so earthy, it almost smells like oysters. We're now looking for the run, okay? I'm gonna start with the camembert. I once showed a cheese like this to Al Roker on the Today Show, and I said, Al, what does that feel like? He said, feels like a waterbed. Yes, he was right. That's what you want. You want it to feel like a waterbed. In France, when cheese like that runs, they say it is goulon. I want you to say that. Goulon. C'est parfait. Here we go. Let's see if it's in there. It is slightly goulon. It is starting to run a little bit. Look at that. And I'm going to taste that little snip there. I bet it's going to be gorgeous because it smells gorgeous. Oh, it's so delicious. However, it is not goulon enough. Oh, this one is a little creamy inside. Let's see how this brie is doing. Okay, still not goulon enough. Come on, come on, give me goulon. Woo, this one's a little goulon. Look at that. I'm going crazy here. I want goulon. If I don't get goulon, it's all over. This one is not quite goulon. You see, these are all like, a lot of these are like almost there, but not quite. Come on, baby, give me goulon. A little bit, a little bit. Oh, and it smells divine. This feels like it's about to explode with liquid. You never know. Here we go. Ah! This one is the closest of all. It's almost running. And you see how it's starting to separate under the rind, which is what happens sometimes when a cheese goes goulon. It's almost there. In any event, whether you get goulon or you don't get goulon, as you can see, this is one of the most exciting and beautiful categories of cheese. Please enjoy it. It's good, right?
It's very nice.
How come you love cheese?
Because it's good.
Dessert cocktails. Like the postcoital cigarette, it's the perfect topper to an absolutely orgasmic eating experience. And today I've got an arousing drink with a titillating name. The Slippery Nipple.
This one's a piece of cake. All you need is Irish cream liqueur, butterscotch schnapps, a rocks glass and some ice if you're making a cocktail, or a shot glass if you're just gonna shoot it down. Easy as muff pie, just pour your liqueurs over ice and start lapping it up.
Sticky and sweet like a slippery teat. Body shots, anyone?
How to poach fish. Salmon, salt, onion, garlic, thyme, celery, carrot, fish stock that you've already made, or you can substitute water with a little bit of mirepoix. First, put your stock on the heat. Next, chop up your mirepoix, the carrot, celery, and onion. This is a fairly quick cooking method, so your cut should be small. Crush your garlic and throw in your thyme, then add everything to the warm stock. Now for the important part. Make sure your liquid isn't boiling. It should be right at 180 degrees Fahrenheit, just shy of a simmer. Carefully place your fish in the hot poaching liquid. It should take about 10 to 20 minutes depending on the size and type of fish that you cook. Make sure not to overcook it. Remember how easy it is to dry meat out by cooking it in liquid. Check it by pressing the fish every 5 minutes or so and use your judgment to decide when it's done. Then carefully remove the fish from the poaching liquid. Remember, it's going to be very, very fragile. Then sit down and enjoy a nice, healthy meal.